Oh, shit, you're allowed to do it. What?
State of Illinois.
Yeah, who said that?
You know what's coming? Next summer.
State of Illinois.
I ain't know, but you children to me.
I'll dig it up.
You do that.
This is
No,
good.
there's one there.
Okay, you got one.
We're good.
Now we'll bring the meeting to order and say the pledge.
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley, trustee Mitchell.
Yes.
Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Kubiak, trustee Weir.
Need a motion to approve the minutes and pay the bills.
Second.
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell.
Yes.
Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Kubiak, trustee Weir.
Motion to accept amended present agenda.
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Kubiak,
Yes.
trustee Weir.
Guess what, Tiffany, you're first.
We have to.
Okay, so I presented a budget to all of you last month, and I am hoping, we did increase one line and then, took away from another line, but it balanced still. And we'll talk about that later, but I'm asking for motion that we pass it.
Ordinance.
Ordinance number 051922, I don't,
No, ordinance number 2022-0519.
is it just 0519?
Mhm.
Okay, that's what it is.
I'll make the motion. You want to bring that up?
Second.
Oh, you wanted me to bring that up first?
What?
Budget amendment.
No, that'll come with Phil's, you mean?
Yeah,
It'll come in Phil's.
Yeah.
There's an ordinance for that.
Yeah.
Pass this and then amend it.
Yeah.
All right, trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Kubiak,
Yes.
trustee Weir.
You're up, Reggie.
Okay, we ran a total of 44 calls last month. A Couple of them were structure fires outside of our district. We did get rid of engine 2. Somebody bought it. They gave us $20,000 for it. It was picked up last Wednesday. Ron's got about half of the equipment installed in the fire trucks for the laptops. We're just waiting on them to finish that up. That's really all I got.
The ambulance service, was dispatched total of 66 times in the last 30 days. We had 14 in Tilton during the day, 15 in Tilton that we dropped during the day. 14 Tilton, at night. We only dropped 2 at nighttime. We had 5 for Oakwood. We had 5 other than Oakwood. 4. We provided them each way 4 times other than Oakwood. We had 1 drop other than Oakwood outside of Tilton. We were busy on 5 of the calls that we had to drop, and we were already on calls. We had 1 that was disregarded to Oakwood. So we actually had a total of 43 that we transported or had disregarded on. We developed another leak at the station today. The new air conditioning unit that was put in, screw goes in, and one of the new recliners is soaked. The light in the ceiling is full of water leaking through the ceiling. We got a little TriStar that came, and the I don't know how, he doesn't know how, but the filter was solidly froze. So they had to shut it off, replace the filter. He said he'll be back tomorrow to check to see what's going on with it. But you could, I went up, got up in the attic, and you could just see the water running out of the unit.
Is there a pan under? That furnace upstairs,
Yes, we put a bucket under it, actually a big bucket under it.
exactly the same thing that happened in the community.
So we're gonna have to take the light down.
Air conditioner in the attic or?
No, the furnace is in the attic. The air conditioner's outside, but it's gotta connect to the furnace.
Yeah.
That's where it's leaking
And
at.
they had it at the community center, remember?
Yeah.
That furnace is up in the attic leaking all the time.
So
How old's the first one? Do you know how old the first is?
the furnace, it looks fairly new, actually. When I was up there, it's not the original furnace from when the building are built. But no, I don't know what year
Well,
it is.
I'm just wondering if the furnace isn't plugging up because the airflow. can't
Well,
get through.
yeah, something had to be plugged up for it to do that.
So it's that condensation.
Well, the air exchanger, if it's not flowing hard enough, it's gonna freeze the coils up that's in the furnace.
That's right.
Well, the furnace ain't
But
bad.
they make a float valve that you can put in the drip pan, you know, if it gets certain, before it goes over the edge, it'll shut the whole thing down.
I mean, I don't know nothing about it.
Maybe somebody needs to ask them about that.
And we need more furnace. Like we did the other ones.
I'm off tomorrow, so I'm gonna try to be down there when he gets there tomorrow to recheck it.
If that's what it is, you know, if the
I didn't even see a drip pan up there, because I know there used to be a drip pan there a long time ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of condensation.
They used to do it at community center too. all the time.
That's a brand new unit too.
That's
Yeah,
a brand new.
That's a lot of condensation.
Yeah, it's
For chair and ceiling and all that, I mean, yeah, they all drip. Cause I got on mine.
But I mean, it could accumulated for a long time and then spilled over.
I mean, this is more than just a drip. It's almost a continuous run. So we shut it down. He went up and looked at, that's what he found. We're not gonna run it overnight, but just have to open the windows and he'll be back tomorrow, recheck it, and hopefully I'll be down there and see what's going on. TriStar, Marty.
Acorn.
Yeah. I submitted some paperwork to Tiffany that we talked about in the department head meeting for an ambulance. We're gonna have to look at replacing a 2009 ambulance. It's the diesel. It's we got 66,000 miles on it. I think that's twice as many miles as what any ambulance has ever had on it when we got rid of them. And with it not being in service for a while and out of service because of the engine problems, we're already at 50-some thousand miles on the newest ambulance. When I talked to AEV, who we purchased our last ambulance off of, that unit was something like $147,000. The guy that I talked to doesn't sell anymore. He still works with the company. He said that basic model would be about $200,000 now. And then I'm still waiting on the phone call from his rep to talk to me about a new ambulance from 3 months ago when I made the call. So I reached out to another agency or company. It's in your packet. They will build one for us, 2022 gasoline engine. They require 20% down. And then once they get the 20%, it's a 190-day bill. So if we would decide to do this, if we want this company to bought this ambulance, it'd be about November, December before we take delivery up and have to pay the rest of it.
It's a lot cheaper than the last one. Guarantee that.
So we could switch the load systems and
That's it. When it comes, we would have to have the graphics put on it because it doesn't come with the graphics on it. And it doesn't have the load system in it, but they're going to wire the load system in it. It takes a special plate that goes in the floor. Basically what they told me is it's plug and play. If you have enough manpower, when we get it, we can take it out of the old unit, take the plate out of the new unit, set it down in there, bolt it down, plug it in, and you're ready to go. I talked to Stryker, who makes that load system. They won't take it out of the old system or old unit and put it in the new unit, but they'll come and put it in the new unit if we have somebody take it out. I can't see us paying twice to have that done. If it's that easy, there's plenty of tech or mechanic savvy people around that we could probably do that ourselves. When we did the graphics on the Tahoe down here at Apparel Unlimited, that guy told me when he looked at the image, he said, I could probably do that. And I wasn't asking him. He just said, who did this? And AV had it done in Ohio. And I could probably do that. So we do wraps both. So at least they're local. That we can probably get a price from him to do that. That's what, I don't have anything else. Any questions for me?
Need a motion to put to buy the ambulance.
I make the motion that we put the 20%
No,
deposit.
we need to buy the ambulance.
Okay, I make the motion that we buy the ambulance.
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Sokoviak, trustee Weir.
Yes. Make sure you got that right.
Yes.
TJ. What you started first.
I'm still searching. I'm still searching. Okay.
Routine trash pickup through town, cleaning, maintenance of buildings, restrooms, routine maintenance on vehicles, equipment. We did get the old garage at Station 1 removed. 314 Brentwood has been removed also. All the new stop signs have been installed. We did install a catch basin and drain pipe on Keegan Street to alleviate water issues. We fixed and extended a drain pipe on Greenwood Cemetery Road that Joe Gleisner looked at for us and gave us some suggestions. We did locate and reset level, I should say, several manholes on the GM property for the pipelining project that happened. We got some manholes raised on 8th Street and L Street. Started the storm sewer project, King Street Alley off Grant. I'd say we're probably about 60% done with that project. Everything goes good tomorrow. It should be wrapped up by Monday. Other than that, I don't have nothing else.
Board, have any, TJ?
You talked about that.
Yes.
We talked about it a month ago.
Yeah. But Joe did some surveying and we got our part taken care of, so.
Sounds like you've been pretty busy.
Go easier.
Not to mention acres of grass. Yeah.
Go easier where I was trying to.
Yeah.
All right, we stayed about the same on calls for service, 374 calls for service last month. Rest were down a little bit at 13, 23 PNT, 67 or 62 citations were issued, along with 37 warning. We had up them out here. I put a lot of PNTs trying to get everybody with their grass and garbage up to speed. Also, that's why requesting amendment to ordinance 290-2 on abandoned motor vehicles. Requesting to add trailers to that ordinance. We currently have nothing to.
Because it all says motorized vehicles.
Yep.
And the word and instead of or.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We need us to make that amendment. Second.
Yeah, for. Well.
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
They send us.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Sokoviak,
Yes.
trustee Weir.
Yes. But it don't- it doesn't stop you from-
Yeah. Keep-
Okay, also, the K9 car is almost complete, going to be done within the next 10 days to 2 weeks. It'll be put online and in service. At that point, we've got the part-time car, our older SUV. It's got almost 100,000 miles on it. We'll be rotating it out. There was a thought that Indian Oil was interested in obtaining that car. Whether we donate it or sell it to them, that's up to you. But once we get to that point, in about 2 weeks, move forward with that.
I suggest we should donate it to them.
Me too.
Well, they actually kind of don't have to.
Yeah.
If we get rid of it, they could actually use it. And 100,000 miles on a fleet SUV, you're not gonna get much out of it.
Make the motion that we donate the part-time car to Animal.
A second,
Trustee Barrett,
yes.
trustee Finley, trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Sokoviak,
Yes.
trustee Weir.
Yeah.
Bruce has fixed seats.
Huh?
The Bruce has to fix seats.
That's right. We don't have any committee reports. I don't.
And then, do I need to bring up this increase or are you gonna do that later?
We should.
Well, that's what I said about earlier. Just, I can bring that up. You don't about for the part-time?
Right,
Yeah, I can bring it up when I come to my turn.
okay,
That's
so,
more, I think it's more my place to do that one.
all
If
right,
you want to just bring it up now, Bill, that's fine.
Okay, this is what I was going to bring up was, this is why I asked a question before we okay the budget. I want to make a budget amendment for $2,130.74 in our P and T fund to be able to give the part-time police officers $1 raise, to be more in line with what's going on around the county.
Another dollar on what was originally.
Right.
Out of T money?
They pay for themselves.
Mhm.
I discussed it with Tiffany, and she said the best way to do it would be just do a budget amendment for the TNT funds. $2,200 of that, into the rates for part-time. So it's not coming out of general fund.
I got you.
So you made the
I'll
motion.
make a motion.
Second.
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Sokoviak, trustee Weir.
Yes.
You have anything contract A and B?
Nothing.
None come in?
Mm-mm.
Okay. G Street, Glendale approaches, award the bid to Midwest Asphalt. They was the lowest bid. We've been holding on to it for a couple months. So
Make a motion, we give it to them.
that's including storm sewer work and pavement.
We certainly need it.
Yes.
Are
Trust-
we talking to somebody about the bearings,
Yeah. Talk to Nick.
Nick?
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Sokoviak,
Yes.
Weir.
Yes.
Mosquito abatement agreement with the township. $2,500 per year.
I'll make a motion.
A second,
Oh, how many times are they gonna do that? Dave?
They done
You know?
once last year, but I don't know how many times they do it.
No, I think they do it about 3 or 4 times a summer.
Yeah,
Oh, more than that.
Yeah,
Huh?
Last year
Yeah.
they did it quite a bit.
Did it?
I'd say like once
I
a
think
week.
he does one in the town sometimes, and he does the other in the town.
Well, it's been raining here. lately.
Yes.
Possibility
Yep.
2 times. I didn't know if we was limited to the amount.
All right.
He does
Trust,
it on special occasions, like when we have something on ballpark or parks, you know.
Right.
trustee Barrett,
yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Sokoviak,
Yes.
trustee Weir.
Yeah.
We have to do this all paid.
It's an all paid contract.
For credit card online payments.
Mhm.
Need a motion to do all paid contract for credit card and online payments.
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Sokoviak,
Yes.
trustee Weir.
Yeah.
Yeah, increase in the pipeline for General Motors property. It was from 14,000 to 33,075. Need a motion to do that since it's already done.
I'll make the motion. That's all gonna be part of that project, right?
Yes.
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Washkoviak,
Yeah.
trustee Weir.
Yeah.
Need to say this, but we need to pay IDOT. 161,064.32 for an overpayment on Ramp Road project.
Did they ever come up with the funds for paying for the striking?
No.
They
Yeah,
said we were supposed to have.
yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, Dean.
But I'm afraid they're gonna start they basically said they could start withholding payments from us. And,
Well, then we'll just withhold painting, which the line on Ranch Road. Now let's pay for them for zero.
well, they do have the ramps on Christopher's desk.
Yeah, the taking the property over.
And they grandfathered it in for fair market value.
Yes.
Well, they have to do with that because that's what the law.
We never heard about that.
Mike Marin had a lot to do
Fair
with it.
market value or anything?
No, I know,
Okay.
but I'm just saying,
I'm saying the way the law, they could do that. And I had really nothing to do.
well, and he went to that for us. And they've really been. And
I mean, go ahead. I'm not gonna get no hurry.
I say 64.
I'm not gonna get, I'm being a hurry to paint the lines over there. They require the striping. Being they forgot it.
Pay him half, month and half.
There you go.
About
There you go. Punish him a little.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dollar.
it's $250.
I'll make some motion.
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Kubiak, trustee Weir.
Randy, you're up.
You got fireworks.
I'm over here.
First, I want to thank you for the opportunity to meet with you today. Feel free to stop me and ask questions at any point in time. When we were contemplating building a Mach 1 travel center in your village, there was a 5 cent per gallon gas tax and a 3 cent per gallon diesel tax in your town. I requested that you consider removing both those taxes as an inducement for us to build in your village. The board very graciously agreed to eliminate the tax on diesel and drop the tax on gas from 5 cents to 2 cents. We accepted that change and built our store. The board has now reinstituted the fuel taxes that were there prior to us building in your village. What I would like to present to the board this evening is a request to remove the diesel tax portion only from your new ordinance. In the 12 months prior to us opening our store in your town, the village collected $117,000 in fuel taxes from the 2 stores that were in the village at that time. 5 cents on gas, 3 cents on diesel. In the most recent month, those 2 stores and the Mach 1 sold 202,000 gallons of gasoline at a 5 cent per gallon tax on gas and no tax on diesel. If you were to agree, that amount comes to an annual payment of over $121,000. You can
That's
see
for all three, correct?
that's
all three.
All 3 stores, a 5 cent gas tax, no tax on diesel. Comes to $121,000 annual revenue for the village, which is about $4 or $5 grand more than what you received for the gas and diesel tax the year before we opened our store. This diesel tax hits the Mach 1 much more severely than either of the 2 convenience stores in Tilton. We are currently selling approximately 250,000 gallons of diesel fuel a month, while the other 2 stores combined sell a very small fraction of that amount. This 250,000 gallons of diesel and the non-related fuel sales from those diesel gallons is virtually all new business to the village of Tilton. And we are working to increase those gallons even more. Our posted diesel price is always very competitive with the other travel centers in this area. And is,
Last time I looked, you was 20 cents higher than anybody around here.
I say Oak was quite a bit cheaper than you guys.
Yes.
Well, I'm
not on diesel. I'm only talking diesel.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm talking Shiny right here, buying him, he's 20 cents higher.
I feel 10
You're
semis.
20 cents higher than the person across the street from you.
And we've been going out to Oakwood to fuel.
Just look at gas buddy.
Okay. I don't know what it is today.
Well, no, just a week ago. Or what-
Every day is going up.
Oh,
I mean, not just you, but everywhere
you know,
else.
any price changes in the last 6 months? I'm not
Yeah.
saying anything that you guys don't know. Fuel prices are ridiculous.
Bread's gonna go up too.
Yeah.
We know that.
The competition on the diesel gallons is primarily from the Oakwood truck stops. We price with the Pilot and the Loves are the big boys on that exit. We are, compared to their posted price, we are way below. I don't know what it is today, but historically, we are way below their posted price. We price competitively with the other two truck stops, the Speedway and the Village Pantry.
Are you talking about your posted price and their posted, or are you talking about the
Posted
deal
price.
you make with
Posted prices,
their and yours too?
their posted price and our posted price historically has been very competitive with the Speedway and the Village Pantry, has been enormously below
Yeah.
the Loves and the Pilot.
Well, that was a good move on your part too, to drop it 30 cents before you came to the meeting.
I don't have anything to do with daily fuel pricing.
Market drives that.
Oh,
And
they were 30, they were 20 cents higher than anybody near them. Now the other two are the same price, he's 10 cents below. So there was a markdown at that before he came up here.
I do not have anything to do with posting fuel prices at our stores. Here again, these wholesale prices today are jumping 15, 20, 30 cents. You might go up 40 cents one day, down 20 the next. It has been a nightmare.
Well, I know by the fact that you made the statement, you're competitive with everybody here in the area around you. And when we got done speaking the last time, you were 20 cents higher than anybody else.
Okay,
Now you're 10 cents below.
I'm not here today to request you guys do anything different on the gas tax. What I'd like to see happen is the removal of the diesel tax. The vast majority of the diesel gallons we sell are not that posted price anyway. Our main business are the regional trucking companies. And the way that works is we have, in any individual trucking company, we will post what our price is above our cost. That's how the vast majority of our gallons are sold. And that is a very typical way for travel centers to sell diesel fuel to these regional and national trucking companies. So what we do is take our cost, which includes price of the diesel, motor fuel tax, freight, those various things. And then we add a cost above that, and that's the profit that we make
On diesel, correct?
on diesel.
Can you tell us, in relation to your diesel only, how much is pumped from your posted price as compared to the deals you make for them?
I
How many
don't,
gallons you pump out front?
I don't have that information, and that changes all the time. The huge majority of our diesel gallons are at that cost plus. That's how these trucking companies, and these trucking companies coming off the highways.
I know they do.
Where they're coming. That is the vast majority of our diesel gallons.
What's your markup?
I'm,
I mean, so you cover everything.
I'm not here to discuss that. I mean,
They need, the rest of these board members need to understand what your markup is from what your purchase price that you got with the contract, your markup
our markup,
for the trucking.
our markup on diesel fuel for customer A.
For a contract.
Yeah, for a contract with customer A, our markup on him will be different than our markup for customer B.
So you don't have a specific markup. So I mean, is it 10 cents?
Not all equal then.
No, if customer A is going, if customer A is gonna buy,
It depends on what fuel card they use.
it's got a lot more to do with customer A buys 20,000 gallons a month, customer B buys 5,000 gallons a month. He's gonna get a better price.
Well, where I'm lost at is when you came here and met with the committee, you gave us a set price. Now you don't have a set price.
What do you mean I give you a set
You
price?
told us in a meeting, in our committee meeting, that what your markup was above cost.
I don't recall
5
giving,
cents ring a bell?
I
You told us in the committee that your markup for contract with trucking companies is 5 cents and that you would lose your ass if we gave you 3 more cents. Now you're coming in here saying that you got variables on your markup.
if I said something to the effect that all of our contract trucking companies pay the same, then I did not, that was not an intentional thing on my part.
Because you said you had to do that to be competitive with the Lowe's or Love's and the other bigger industries. So now you're sitting here telling us, after you came to our committee meeting, now you're telling us you have a variable?
I can tell you that the markup is thin, and it is different for customer A than it is for customer B. I didn't in any way try to mislead you in any way whatsoever.
So it depends solely on the amount of how big the consumer is. You know, like,
A bigger customer
right,
is,
it's a bigger drop.
yes,
How come you do that?
that's the way it works.
No, I'm just curious. I didn't know
I
how
don't-
they set it up like that.
That is the way this system works today. I mean, any truck stop, travel center, anyway.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I just,
I don't know how the system evolved into this. But today, with the technology that everybody's got, that is the way it works. And we contact customers directly. We go through services that contact the customers for us.
Mhm.
And they'll take a portion of that. So it's not an easy question to answer. I'm not involved in that end of it. The only thing I do anymore is look for new sites. That's what I do, and then talk to people like you guys.
So is the 3% that you're wanting to deduct from diesel, is that to help the diesel?
That is to help me grow those diesel gallons.
Okay.
Any cost that has to get added to that, our cost of diesel is going to impact gallons. I mean, that is what's gonna happen. Might be able to retain the smaller guy. I'm not gonna retain the bigger guy.
Well, I just know the truckers are, what it costs for them to fill their tanks is just unbelievable.
It's astronomical.
Yes.
Take it. Yes, it is astronomical. This has been,
Car now.
Huh?
It is for your car right now.
Yeah.
Truck drivers dropping a grand every time they fill.
yeah,
Yeah, easy,
$1,000 to fill up.
easy.
Well, I heard one time on TV, some trucker said he cost him $1,600 to fill
Well,
those tanks.
they put the trucking industry out of business because they can't afford the fuel to drive from point A to point B is what's happening.
I have 300 gallons of fuel on our fuel bill last week.
Diesel.
1,000, a little over 10,000. And they all did.
I have no problems with it. Like I said, the only problem I've had is this is twice now, because first I had the $1 million
We all went
profit
out to
margin,
the 66.
or we could do away with the tax. Now we had
That's
5
cheaper than
cents
this here.
over cost, and now it's a burn. I'm sorry, but every time Randy talks to me, he comes up with something different. And you don't remember the last. But I ain't got a problem with it. So just for the mere fact of being a truck driver, the industry, there's
Yes,
a problem right now with high cost. Temporary. Temporary.
So Randy, you're saying that if we today walk out of here and drop the diesel or diesel tax down to zero like it was previously, you're saying that you're gonna drive your diesel purchases up. They're gonna continue to rise.
But them truck drivers spend money in that store too.
I understand that, but I'm asking,
That's why he's doing it.
but I'm asking, so if we leave it at zero, your gallons per month are gonna continue to rise because you can keep a competitive rate.
That is our goal. I can't.
I know you can't
guarantee
say
it.
that.
What we've done to date is grown these gallons from zero to that. Currently, we're going 250,000 gallons a month.
I understand that.
I can't give you any guarantees.
I know you
I don't know
can't.
what's
You
gonna
can't.
happen
I
to
know.
the economy.
But what I'm saying is that is our hypothesis. There's nothing saying that a year from now, we go to revisit that. And that comes to not be true, then we're back to the drawing board again with what we're gonna do.
That's why, if I'll tell you what, I'll put it this way, I make a motion, we drop the tax on diesel fuel due to the cost to the truck driver. Nothing to do with his business. It has to do with the truck driver. They need help staying in business.
I agree.
You wanna put a
We put it, can we-
time frame on there and revisit this a year, year and a half, 2 years, or what?
Well, listen,
Change in a year.
we can revisit it in a year, but with the way the.
It's probably gonna get higher.
2 years probably.
It's probably gonna get
We'll look at
higher.
it again in a year.
I'm fine with it if we review it in 2 years.
What do you think about that?
I would be very gracious.
6 months.
2 years seems like a lot, though.
Yeah.
But the problem is the economy's not gonna change in 6 months.
No,
Biden gets out of it.
Pardon me?
We got- Unfortunately, we got,
That's 2 years.
The way inflation's going and the fact we were probably in for a recession 2 years, and that's why everybody's saying 2 years, because it's going to affect the truck driver probably at least 2 years the way the prices are.
Well, plus the
Alright.
state's getting ready to raise fuel tax anyway in 24. So
it's already affected them. I mean, look at the groceries.
But as a board, we can revisit it in another
Right.
year just to see how the economy's going and everything else, and then
And do it again in the another year.
I'll go along with that.
Yeah,
I don't
I'll
want to make
second the
it official. We'll just go over it again and see.
that's what,
You saw what I'm saying?
yep, I got-
I'll second the motion.
What are we motioning?
for a year.
1 year, we'll visit it.
Zero on diesel and
Leave,
Last thing is.
leave the gas tax alone.
I'm not asking for anything on the gas tax.
I know it.
One thing I'm doing, you can't sit up here with the truck. That's all there is to it.
I seen a thing on my phone today. Of course, you can only believe some of that stuff. They said diesel fuel, they expect it to go to $9 and something a gallon.
You wouldn't believe.
That's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable how short diesel fuel is today.
Really.
There are terminals without diesel fuel where we normally go to get our product. We're having to drive farther to get our diesel fuel. Gasoline today isn't as serious. But the tightness of the diesel supply today is really tight.
It's $9 a gallon.
So far, we've kept
Is what delivery costs for groceries and everything else.
Trustee Barrett,
yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Sokoviak,
yeah.
trustee Weir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Make sure I understand.
Don't think this, because I'm gonna be honest with you, that vote was done for the truck driver, not you. I think you've been feeding me a line twice now.
To make a deal with.
Make sure I
Yeah.
understand. Dan.
Make a deal with Richard.
June, there'll be a 5 cent per gallon gas tax, 0 cents per gallon diesel.
Yes,
But that's when the law is scheduled to go into effect.
yes.
Thank you very much.
They can amend it in that shorter time.
Yeah.
I have to get an
It'll be in
orange.
June. He's right. It'll be June. It won't be June the 30th or something. But whatever the board meeting is in June, Randy, that's when it'll start.
See,
The reduction from diesel will start in June.
okay, so we will be paying the June 3 cents.
You probably will by the time we get.
Until board meeting night again. So
Okay.
that'll be
June
by
16th.
then.
Thank
June
you.
16th.
Thank you.
I need a motion to buy the fireworks for Nostalgia at $7,150
I make a motion.
Second.
for the 2nd of July.
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets.
Yep.
Trustee Kubiak,
Yes.
trustee Ware.
Yeah, bid opening for the fence
I'll take
project.
it. I'll take it. I mean,
Yeah, for the gun range. You never knew business thing to tear that right down there until you go through that.
I'll see it goes back there. Yeah. That's what it is. That's to be ready.
When we get.
Mhm.
NPS fence was $54,950.15. And Powell fencing was $31,559.
Who, Powell? Same things. That's quite a difference.
Does anybody know what the cost of the material?
There's a lot right now.
Nine gauge, that's what they spec.
Mhm. Approximately 885 feet, which is more than that anyway.
Yeah, that's 830.
6 foot tall, 9 gauge,
About 10 grand.
2. This one says material and labor and equipment is the 31. This is just, yeah, and it's all inclusive. Both.
No, they don't.
No.
So it was like pounds.
The feet, the length of the footage is all the same though?
Nope, that was longer.
Yep.
He's got 885 feet and this one's got 830, so Powell bid on
50
low,
feet?
yeah, 50-foot difference. So he's still less.
Well, that wouldn't be $20,000.
No, it ain't, no, no,
Powell's got less than
yeah,
50 feet ain't gonna cost 20 grand.
no. It's 830 linear feet, so that's probably about the same distance.
Can I say something on the fence? The footage is going to be determined basically where they want to start from the berm and come back. If one went farther back on the berm to start it, then the other one was kind of at their discretion where they think would be a good starting point and work their way back.
That might be the difference.
Yeah, but this one
He's
has,
got-
but he's got 885 feet. Powell has 885 feet. NPS fence has 830 feet. So Powell already
I
has
thought
more.
Powell was the least. He's the
Yes,
most.
He's the
he's
least.
more linear feet
Okay.
For the fence.
for the
I
fence.
misunderstood you. I thought it
You
was.
see, he's got the diagram because it's pretty much 367 feet down one side and 420 feet, 3 feet down this side.
North side is longer than the south side.
You can have it if you want.
Fell down.
Okay.
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
Trustee Koviak,
Yes.
Trustee Weir.
July 2nd. Well, it's up to you guys. Yeah, we can do that in July. I said, yeah, we can do that. Got it?
To add on to July 2nd, we are having a band from 6 to 9. We will be closing the 5th Street and North 8th Street, working with Public Works and Police Department on getting personnel there and getting it taken care of. Lapita's will have a special menu, so we don't have to have a food truck or anything like that. You can have carry out, working with Alex, they're gonna do a hamburger, cheeseburger, fry, for a special price. On that part, unless you added something today.
Not yet.
Just making sure you didn't add nothing on me.
Who's the band?
Well, Paul Off is paying half the band price.
Yes.
So he donated that.
Wow. Who is the band?
Is the band,
Dave, what's the,
endless summer band.
In the summer, man.
he did the band part, so
Is that the throwback?
that's the one from Tennessee. So.
In
Yeah,
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
They're out of Indianapolis.
Oh,
I've heard of them, they're a very excellent band.
I think they are too.
Big following, couple thousand people supposedly, so we'll see. That's why we're closing 5th Street.
I did see the stage used over the weekend.
Not for kids climbing all over.
Nope, Lapita's had a birthday party for one of the kids, and they made a great place to put the pinata over.
Yeah.
I have fun sitting on the porch watching.
Another thing, during the run and sell, the fire department's gonna be filling the booth for Nate Decraft. He's a fire cadet for Oakwood Fire Department. He had,
Correction, film helmet.
Filling the helmet, not the boot.
I'm sorry, filling the helmet. Filling the helmet, filling the gear, whatever they can stuff money into. He had two brain aneurysms. He was in the hospital for 30 days. Met with him Wednesday or yesterday, and he's up talking, walking. They have to have a couple more surgeries to replace his skull later when the swelling goes down. So I would like to match anything that they collect up to $500.
I'll tell you what, why don't you hold off and see how much they collect, and might be able to match more.
That's up to you guys. I just figured we'll throw out $500 to start with, but if you guys want to do whatever they come up with, that's fine with me.
500 would be the minimum. The minimum like 500, we'll
Yeah.
donate that.
I know they do pretty good when they do other events,
Yeah, it
so
depends on.
with the rummage sale, there's a lot of traffic and
You know,
cleanup, we're also gonna have cleanup so they can
Yeah.
collect off of them, so everybody will be moving around in Tilton that day, so hopefully we can come out pretty good.
No, if you block the Fifth Street, I ain't going nowhere.
That's the second, that's a different day. That's
That's in
this will
July.
be during the Memorial Day weekend.
But on the July 2nd, what's?
The band will start at 6, so we will close at about 5:36. Lapita's will still have access, obviously, to get into their business. They offer up the parking lot to use too, so
Fireworks show is gonna be off General Motors property, so everybody from Thomas Park can see it.
we'll have parking at other locations, they'll be mapped out, so.
I got one, two.
The old aerial stuff.
Yes.
We'll bring up July 8th now, or do you want to do it?
Let's wait until I have more information. Or you can tell them what we're planning on doing, so we-
So July 8th, we're having a band and a car show starting at 4 o'clock. 4 to 8 will be the car show. Band will be
7 to 10 will be 90's daughter. Also closing Fifth Street, same thing with Lapita's menu. All money will be raised, will go to the cancer center here in Danville. So it'll stay here, help anybody that need or needs it.
When's that?
July.
July 8th, the next weekend. It'll be a Friday night,
Oh,
the following weekend, yep. Same thing, working with TJ and Phil and getting personnel there, so.
I'll rent you a space on a court.
sell it.
Right, $5 parking.
VIP.
Yeah.
Inside seat, Bill.
I think that's it. And we'll have more come on that, July 8th. I think that's all I've got right now.
Billy?
I get it all I want to.
Virgil?
I talked to TJ this week. We gotta get the flags out on the cemetery this coming week.
Next Friday.
Next Friday, is that when they're gonna do it?
Oh, yes, TJ, I forgot to tell you. I
Is you gonna help?
Today,
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
historical side, and he said, if you want the flags steamed and pressed, get a hold of him, he'd be willing to do it.
I was gonna say that. I talked to Tom this morning.
Yeah, I did too. He asked me,
He's got that steamer. They look brand new when he does that. Really nice.
We'll get it done.
Take a look there.
Do it tomorrow.
That's all I got.
We just need to find the list.
Ryan?
Reminder, next Saturday's the village cleanup. Everybody should have got postcards in the mail. I do know that the United States Postal Service has had their fair share of employees issues that everybody else has, so mail's been kind of scarce. So if you haven't received the postcard by next Saturday, just bring a photo ID. It has a Tilton address and it'll be in there. But if you have that postcard, bring the postcard and the photo ID, please. One trip per household. That's strongly enforced, and we record addresses as they come through, so we will know if you try to attempt to come back. Senior citizens have until tomorrow to call up to City Hall to get on the list for senior pickup next week, and Public Works will be taking care of that. So make sure if you know anybody that hasn't signed up for their pickup, to make sure that they call up to City Hall before they close tomorrow. And then if you do the pickup on the street for the seniors, make sure you put it in one pile so it's easier for them to grab and it's as close to the road as possible without being on the road.
Judy?
I don't have anything, but did you skip over the public?
Not yet. They're still out there.
Well, I know, but this way I said before us.
I think
You never know which way he's gonna
I
go.
think the public needed the information the board.
Okay, I have nothing.
Joe, you're up.
Okay. A few things regarding the EMS4, did get the annual report done, and I emailed it down to the EPA. I haven't heard back on the email, but I sent them a copy also because the code requires mailing it. And I tracked that, and so they've received it according to that tracking information.
The EPA has?
Well, yes,
Okay.
the address that they listed on there, I had it tracked, and then I kept track of it. Also, that has to be posted on the website. Is it okay? You saw that on the drop? Yeah, and then it needs to be by the end of May, and then there's a couple of things on here that need to be fixed.
You do, most of them are fixed, it's just not published yet. It's gonna be published by then.
Okay, very good, thank you. And so down on Greenwood Cemetery Road, when I was driving by, the resident there that we spoke about last month, Thomas Reese was out and his wife, they were working in the yard, so I stopped in and mentioned that what was planning on happening with extending the pipe out to the original size that's under the road. We walked down there and looked at the discharge of the pipe. He said there never was an easement. He said he had talked to Dutch Watland at that point in time, and he said they were working on, he mentioned the East Ross Lane project, and they filled over the top of the pipe and extended it out. He even kind of mentioned it might have slid. So it'd be a good idea to get the camera up. And so I took a picture. There's like a
bunch of tires on the end of it.
Yeah, there's a flange plate right here. He says that flange plate can be peeled back and take the stone off, and then we can get the camera in there if we want to look at the pipe. And so I've kind of written this down, and TJ has a copy of that.
Thomas say that he'd give us an
Oh,
easement.
thank you so much. What's that?
Did Thomas say he could give us an easement?
He said he might give us an easement. He'd be interested, but I'd recommend we kind of look at the pipe first, see what has to be, maybe it's okay. If it is, well, then, you know, easements, but knowing what's happening with that pipe, not that, my concern would be that the water that's backing up on the other side of the road could be caused by clogging or failure in the pipe, because it appears that water's bleeding out of the bank. And so I've got some concerns about how that pipe is put in and whether that held, you know, with fill material that didn't slide out or something of that nature. Also, we're at the time of the year where we're renewing a different permit cycle, and we're required to look at the environmental justice. And I get on there and make these maps. And again, this year, it looks like we qualify for one area. So environmental justice means the fair treatment and meaningful involvement of all people regardless of race, color, national origin, or income with respect to development, implementation, and enforcement of environmental laws, regulations, and policies. And so they have a definition here for low income. It appears using the website that a portion of Tilton is in the low income area. And so the definition of that, that means a low income and or minority population greater than twice the statewide average. And so you go through there, I've ran the reports, but here's a copy of this. And so what we kind of need to do with the involvement, I think, is with your cleanups that are coming up, what we did previously is you had addresses. Are you still going to be getting the residents' addresses for the senior cleanup and also the cleanup at the park? If you provide me that, then I use the website to put those addresses in there, and then we kind of do counts about how many people participated in those cleanups came from those low income areas in there that's listed. And that's a good start with that. Then we kind of look at a lot of the other numbers, and I've got some standard forms that we put those things into. So then also I've been working on, last month you guys approved the engineering work for down on the Dalewood and Florence, Crestwood area. And we've taken 1,500 observations down there, and I've prepared a report. This has a lot of the background data with utilities. There's two vacated alleys, east and west of kind of the cross alley, but they left an easement there. They're in there, the manhole inspection sheets and the survey plats. And so I found a lot of storm structures down there. Some of them are very, very small. And so I turned off there a lot of the information on here with all the 1,500 spot elevations that I'm using to kind of look at the elevations. And I went over this a little bit with TJ, but this line here, if I'm looking at the pins that are out there in the field and offsetting 66 feet, the plat shows a reserve street. So even over the bank of the railroad is still in that right of way. I believe they must have cut into some of the reserve right of way there. So I think this pipe might go over the bank here. There's like a sinkhole and like almost erosion rock there. Might be able to call Julian, maybe carefully dig down and find the end of the pipe. And then looking at these pipes, put the push camera through. Same thing up here where the railroad crew is working on the bridge. They've excavated out, looks like for their structure that they're building underneath the railroad, and packed that into the bank. I'm wondering if the discharge of this pipe ends up down here. The lady of concern, what's happening here on Dalewood is a lot of these residents are discharging their sump pumps. Yeah, there's almost everybody down there that I've talked to has sump pumps that run. And then I think there's some off-road parking that's put in and it backs up. But really this water ought to be graded down to here or pipe extended down. But once we have capacity and know that this will flow and isn't building up on the corner there. And so there's an 18-inch line in here, but this manhole needs to be found. And there's two manholes that should be in this alley at this location. So I have this copy, and this goes in the book and the report. I'll give you the whole report, but if you, when the guys get free, if they can find them manholes,
Okay.
and then get the camera down in here and look at these pipes and see what we can find out, then we may either, that might solve it, just clean them out if they're in good condition. We can look at it. If not, we may look at a future plan to kind of bring a storm sewer where we can avoid all the utilities, the trees, and the pavement around Reserve back over here and then ditch down Florence back over. There's a nice big 18-inch. I was really impressed with this, the way it looked looking in this manhole. That 18-inch, it's clay, it looked pretty good. And so the thing about pushing all that water into the storm sewers, though, is we really should be thinking about ditching or having like, there's,
Don't have to run off at one time.
yeah, and there's a couple of pieces of property that I believe are right away that you might be able to put ditches in.
There's a manhole on that one on Willis Street, Joe, at the end of it.
Oh, Willis?
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go right in the middle of Willis Street.
Is it? Okay, it's covered?
No, it's not covered. It's between, the one running between Crestwood and Brentwood.
Okay,
There's a manhole on that, on the very end.
okay. So yeah, if we can find those and then, well, I'd like to have the videos recorded and look at those videos or some things. And so I've kind of recommended some more engineering time with getting with you on these maps about future improvements to the drainage conditions out there and then what to do about where the nuisance water stands. And so I put together the report for that. And if you'll look at that, and then I'd recommend, getting that over to Public Works guys. And in addition to those items, I'm planning on probably doing the reports again with the cleanups. I'm going to start inspecting the Vermilion River and Great Creek discharges. And at some point in time, I'm going to run a level circuit over the Public Works Department. We're going to begin doing the topography of that area over there and make it kind of a map like we have of the Public Works. That'll probably go on throughout this year a little bit. So if you see us over there, we'll try to scatter the dust. So,
Can you send, oh, never mind.
yeah, and then here's my bill too.
David gave it to me.
Okay, yeah. Right, so, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for me on any of that or? Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Anybody else in the public have anything?
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Yeah. I see we can put a number of new stop signs in the neighborhood. I'm not a real big fan of them, of course, but I understand they serve a hell of a purpose.
But enough room to be roundabouts.
Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of those things, but we've got a real issue on 16th Street. Atwood all the way east going to Route 1 is
Wide open.
wide open, man. And it seems to be that with the introduction of the new Dollar Tree, a lot of folks just love that place enough to where they're going to race. And from that point, that double street Atwood, all the way up my street.
So how about King Street be a four-way stop?
I don't think so. I think it should be a Leisler. I think it needs to be a short.
Leisler, okay.
Because by the time they get to my house, which is
Right,
past,
right.
I'm on the corner of Leisler and 16th. And by the time they get to my house, and I'm standing out in the garage watching these idiots, they're probably running 45 to 50 east. And they're heading east. And a lot of them are coming right from Route 1, and it's like a freeway. They just slam on the brakes. They don't even stop at the stops. And, if a roundabout was to be done, that's the place to put the roundabout. That's right there. Beth and I were talking about that. That would have been an excellent idea. And, but.
Make it one way too, right?
And I don't want to do that, but I'm telling you, I watched it twice in the last couple of weeks. Where a speeder was disregarded the stop school bus and blew past that. And those kids was just being, 3 or 4 kids already out.
I'm all in favor of controlling speeders because we put one on Moore Street in Washington.
I don't want to see it.
And then, well, just letting you know, now they take off at the stop sign and run wide open to Ross Lane.
Well, there's no place
Yes.
on 16, no property really on 16. Maybe except for mine, in which I allow them to put one of those, you're going this fast, But the issue, and I would allow, I'd allow any police officer to sit there, and give them donuts and stuff.
Legend goes on. Right. Well, the other thing is, what happened is stop sign. That's what's gonna happen.
The stop sign, but
Yeah. There you go.
What do you say they're going east?
Greg? Both
They're
directions.
mostly going east, but it doesn't really matter.
Matwood,
And they're coming from Route 1 or they're coming from the ramp road also come in. And my street has become the most busy street in the world.
we on
It
16th.
really is. Yeah, and I was trying to back up that line. I've got a pumpkin.
Where?
Back it in my bar.
I do too,
I'm trying to back that-
because there's more traffic there.
Could not wait. And
People will
get
complain
inside
if you put it,
my property,
it should be a
over
key.
my flowers, over my.
I started the same way too. I mean, I'm trying to sit here.
Hit that alley and then almost hit. the
Unfortunately.
neighbors, Make a big hole. To get around. It's not a solution.
No.
No.
I mean, I've never handled an accident myself.
Well, I know for one thing, it sure slowed them down on there.
That's a good thing.
Oh, boy. Yeah. It slowed them
Didn't,
dramatically.
didn't stop them on
I think,
Melrose.
I'm not a fan.
I think some of them, we should put cross traffic, don't stop and open Meister Street, so they have to stop.
Yeah.
Tell you the
I
truth.
think a four-way right there at Meister 16 is the only logical. It's too short on the other end, and most of your speeders are really coming from Atwood.
Make a motion for the stop sign. Wherever,
What's one more?
put one,
Second.
one at King and.
Put them in.
Just start with Meister.
Can we do that?
More ammo on Facebook.
They can make a motion because the public brought it up for a safety factor.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I think King Street's a busier intersection.
I do too.
We've had a lot of accidents at King and 16th Street. Speaking of the fire, I mean, you guys have got T-bone there. We've almost been hit there several times. It's,
Police were stopping before Meisler and then.
Troy, Josh, Phil.
That was good.
But
I mean, I've handled accidents at King
I
and
think what
16.
he's worried about is when they leave King Street, they're gonna be fired up by the time they pass it.
They are.
I think that's what the whole deal is.
That's what's gonna happen. Put it in better word.
It doesn't matter. I live at the corner of Brentwood and Melrose. It's a four-way stop. They start at Delwood and they are hauling to my house and slamming on their brakes. And then they're gunning it for one more block to Atwood. It doesn't matter where you put it. They're gonna either be fine, blow it, or be loud with it.
But I think
That's what a police intervention needs to be done.
I think what
Let's put a police officer at my house.
I think one of the things he's talking about is.
Aren't you signed up for a speed detail?
His access to 16.
There's one on my side too, two of them are down there.
Got one.
Catty corner from them.
But I think that's what he's.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
His access to his house, he wants to slow him down.
If you put it on King Street, what's gonna happen is.
I'd want them to slow down on my street too.
Right, well, this is unfortunately the very first road, which is Meister, is also a truck, a bus stop for the children. That's the where it needs to go, because that would have stopped those guys from going past that. And I saw that twice in the last month, and man, I'm telling you what, these people are inconsiderate.
And you know what's really bad? We can send a police officer down there, so it'll be going for 3 days and everybody will be angry.
I know, and that's true. But put that stop sign down there, buddy, I make sure that they get a school sentence.
How's that school bus?
They drive like maniacs too.
They do.
Down Lincoln Street
Yeah,
every day.
that school bus comes through the double streets and they fly down.
Yeah. I don't.
They do.
Someone made a motion for stop sign.
But if they do a school bus, something on that school bus.
Now, I don't know if they do that through Danville, if they're taking care of all of their complaints since they're District 118 schools. Because Danville Police used to go there every morning and take any violations. But we've never, since I've been here, been contacted.
The bus, probably.
can we, ask that question?
I mean, I can look into that and find out what's going on, whether it's taken care of.
We need to make sure the bus drivers drive the speed limit too. because
Yeah.
I will mention that as well.
Address that while you're there.
They come through,
They're
yeah, they
driving
come
through
through the
Lincoln
double
wide
streets
open.
and take it so wide they ran me off the road.
Let's go.
Tomorrow or the first of next week.
So you gotta call the board. Stop sign.
I only got one.
Second. Up second.
Trustee Barrett,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yeah.
treasurer Kubiak,
Yes.
trustee Weir.
Yes.
Thank you.
You about to have anything in public? Public?
I just kind of want to stop back in. I know it's been a long time since I met with the board. I came in and met with the committee. I just kind of didn't really hear anything after that, so I wanted to at least take a moment to come still discuss this a little bit with you guys. I know sitting here listening, one thing you continuously talk about, right, is where costs are going on everything. I'm here to tell you, your trash is going to be the same way. It just is what it is. And our municipalities that have agreements with us are loving life right now because we're not hitting them with fuel taxes. We're not hitting them with extra fees. We're not hitting it because it's all contracted work. We got to stay within the guidelines of that contract. Highest increase they've seen anywhere from 3.5%, 4% over the last 2 years. So, I mean, they're not to mention, we're not just going to come in and not give a great service to your community because that's obviously number one. But yeah, I just, it's been a minute. I at least want to stop back in, have that conversation. And hey, if it's we looked at everything, we appreciate it. And maybe sometime in the future, I get that. This doesn't happen overnight. But if it's something, in my mind that you guys wanted to readdress, I honestly tell you with the way everything's going, that would be a great time to really look at that again.
There's no fuel cost on the others. I mean, it's contract the community.
So what we do is we look at projections year over year and we add in best you can, what we think those fuels are going to go to, what we think labor is going to go to, parts, all that stuff is. So if you see one of the performers that we do to price out a community, it's a spreadsheet. It's got about 35 pages on there. So dialing everything down to the penny.
He's a garbage actuary.
Yeah. Well, luckily I don't have to do it. I
What's
just
the
talk to
contract?
him.
Year then, you're saying?
So most of the time they're 5 years.
Oh, 5 years. Locked in 5 years.
Well, the increases are in there, but it'll tell you every year what.
Oh, you mean the contracts already reflects the increases every year. I got you. Okay.
Prices go up every day too.
Well,
The few, I'm talking, and our.
Figure it up again, I guess. I say he can figure it up again and give us some kind of figure.
Yeah, but he just sit there and say he's not an actuary. He don't know what the price is going to do next month.
Well, that's what, we gave you a price before, and I'm here to tell you, I need to reevaluate that one for sure. But I, in all honesty, I think the biggest thing I would say is if you guys ask for pricing, I wouldn't just ask me. And that's just being fair. I would go to all your callers and say, hey, here's what we want as a community. The same thing that you would ask for me, ask for them. You guys get bids on it, open them up, and the public says, nope, we don't want none of that. Okay, keep it where it's at. But if you do the homework and at least show the public, hey, here's the rates that we can get you and more to it, right? We were gonna do your cleanup for you. We're still gonna take care of the park. Heck, I gotta assume you're getting a little bit of our tipping fees from the landfill, right? So we're trying to partner with you there too. Really just all around for us, at least at Republic, we're just trying to partner with the community as a whole. But it wouldn't be fair for me to sit here and say, hey, don't go to another hauler. You got 4 in town, I think. I think without a doubt, have all of us line up.
How many?
I think there's 4 in there.
14.
Training roll.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me to another point. Those trucks are heavy.
They're in the alleys, up in the streets and everything else.
Yeah.
Some of them aren't marked.
Some of ours?
No, some of the ones we're talking about. aren't.
I was like, you let me know right now if I got.
That's Wangler, Schaefer,
Chris,
Train roll off.
What do we ask?
who?
What are you asking?
I'm just asking for the consideration of, looking at, well,
Yeah, when-
under bids you can, but.
Even though,
Yeah.
we do it, what was the last?
Schaefer.
Do you remember what the last?
Yeah, so we were gonna do cleanup. We're gonna do the municipal buildings.
Boston.
We already do the park for you guys. I mean, that's just a good partnership piece for us. And for everybody to just have one trash container, and now this was just a minimal to look at it. It was $13.50 was the starting.
My bill was like $45 a month. I went from you to Crane and pay less than 1/2 of that.
Sure. I can tell you right now, costs fluctuate with all
You
of us.
never gave me any kind of dumpster.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah. And then you would start, you throw my cans all over, and like, I think 5 or 4 cans every year,
So if you went with us, we would have provided you a can.
but you didn't. And I
He said he was with you.
Many years, asked for that, and you wouldn't do it, like
Well-
Rain did.
Yeah, well, I apologize. And if, hey,
How about that?
if Crane's a better option for your community, I respect that. I got
It's something we need to look at.
In the last 10 years, though, I know Republic gave up toters to everybody because we didn't have it before that. And then about,
They still will.
and then they started coming in and everybody had a toter.
Because I won't go back to them people. So are you saying that every one of us has to go with Republic now?
No, but.
No, he proposed.
That's what he's asking.
Oh,
If we pay for it, yeah, why wouldn't you?
but that's our tax dollars too.
That's what I'm saying. But also you have to look at the city thing.
They're the most.
Go drive through town and see how many people, just ask TJ right there. There's a shed just stacked full of garbage because people didn't have it picked up. The whole shed from the bottom to the
Also,
top.
they're not supposed to be going through our alleys.
That's what I'm saying. These
And
guys,
Crane is.
they usually don't. Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now. I don't want to go into
Well,
that.
if they don't pay, then we can get rid of the trash problems like that because we
That's right.
shut their water off.
Yeah. They mess them all up.
Their trucks doing it too, because they see it all the time.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say, we would eliminate that. We would want
That's been
everybody
a
to
couple
cover
of
your
years since
service.
that's been an ordinance.
Yeah, 'cause we don't want to be in there anymore. You guys want us to say we just hold on.
No, he doesn't make a decision.
No, no, yeah, no. No, I'm not looking for an answer.
Have given all the same things. They just.
I would say, if you were gonna ask me to do it again, I would ask all the homeowners.
Well, right now, be realistic, if you did it now. because we'd have to
Now,
figure in inflation and price
But if they don't land right, they don't get out and pick them up.
I never had mine fall over. I don't think at my other house. Which can change.
If you have.
Whether you guys go with us or not, I'm pretty sure I've given everybody on board my card. So if you're hearing issues, you guys feel free to call me. Whether you have a contract or not, I don't want bad service in your community. Like I said, we want to be partners. That's why we try to do as much as we can over here.
But when you advertise for bids, you usually get compatible bids for service.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Did you call him today?
No.
No, I
I
stopped.
talked to Tony.
Talk this morning if anybody heard from you.
I stopped in on Tuesday.
You talked, Dave told me you talked to him on it, or he called you or something.
I told
Tony?
him that.
Tip.
Oh,
But
Tim?
I was in
Okay.
my office cast off.
No, I haven't talked to him for quite a while.
Yours must have been burned.
Hey, it's just been a little bit, so figured why not stop back in and at least reapproach it, and like I said, it doesn't hurt me, and I'm just a salary employee, whether you go with us or not, I get paid the same.
Well, they know it is, that short time you sit here, we're busy in our community.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely,
I mean, some things get put on the back
Sure.
burner, while other things are.
Sure. And I understand that,
Oh,
like I
yeah.
said, we don't want to push anything, so.
I'm a firm believer if you advertise for bids, just like we do any project, you get compatible bids. And we just take the lowest bid.
You'd have to have specs.
But they'd have to
We
understand,
have to have specs, though.
We
But
need
they
to-
gotta have specs, and they gotta furnish the total,
Yeah.
you know.
But you also have to come up with specs in your bid, you know, like if he's offering for cleanup,
That's
so
right.
we're gonna make everybody else.
Yeah, they gotta have, that's what you gotta do.
Actually, you gotta do 2 cleanups a year, just one.
You gotta make it fair.
No, that's
we
the
ought to
thing.
do
Dumpsters, not
Yeah, that's what I
everybody-
thought.
not everybody-
It's like five or six roll-offs.
I thought the last time it was
TJ,
curbside
what do we
pickup,
usually go through?
twice
on roll-offs?
twice a year.
Do you remember the number what we go through on roll-offs?
I think we've done curbside in a while, if we did do it. I've never seen it in my time, in 4
I'm
years.
gonna say last year, Doug, 8 to 10. Last year's cleanup, roll off. That sound right? Previous years,
Well, I know we went through a lot more than that frequently.
I think you told us 2 cleanups or something last year, didn't you? Or what-
I'm pretty sure we always do your cleanup for you, yeah. And that's how we knew the last time when you guys asked for pricing, we
Yeah.
just used your past.
Right, yeah.
So if that's something that you want to ask from us, like, hey, how many have we used in the past? share that with you.
And the
I
other.
said, I want it to be fair.
Where do you want to start? You want him to figure it and then we'll, we gotta have a start.
Well, here's the thing though, because he was also discussing tipping fee. That does not apply to anybody else because they own the dump.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I mean, to make it competitive, he has to eliminate some so everybody can bid. So I'd say, let's see what he's got this. around
Yeah,
here.
then you got something to offer everybody else for a
Well, we have
bid.
somebody build a package off of it, but
Yeah.
he's got something he can offer that nobody else can.
So I guess what I'm trying to eliminate too is our office individuals putting in a lot of work for, hey, we'll think about it again. And I don't mean that in a rude way, because I totally understand it. That's why I'm saying, if you're looking to do it again, I would ask us all at once. So that way, if it does get kicked down another 6 months, I'm not coming back saying, hey, I need to redo this yet another time.
We'll just put them guys on salary, that way
Trust me, they're on salary. They do all right. We take care of our people. But again, in the meantime,
Thing of it is, for us to make a bid package, we have to know, we'll have to look at yours, because some of the stuff you had in yours pertain to the village itself, not the residents, like tipping fees.
well, the tipping fees, we wouldn't put any of that. We have a totally different contract with you guys for that.
Well, no.
There's a
tipping
landfill
fees is
agreement.
Still gonna be, if we had a contract with you, the tipping fees would be sweeter than if we didn't have a contract with you.
So if you want to discuss tipping fees, I can tell you that I'm not your guy that's going to tell you what's going to
Well, I'm
happen with
just
those
saying.
fees. There's somebody way higher than me that's going to come over here and have that
No,
conversation.
that's the thing though, if we had a contract, we need the tipping fees would be sweeter than if we didn't.
Got you.
So like tipping fees and that kind of stuff, this is something we would have to think about.
Yeah.
too.
Well, and again, that's why I'm just saying, like, we're just trying to find a good partnership. That's all.
I'm just afraid
I forgot.
half of them people don't have roll offs. They're not gonna be able to bid like he's talking.
And then.
And hey,
I live next to a dumpster that if the wind blows 2 miles an hour, the lids are gone off the dumpster and everybody, and the trash goes all over the neighborhood. If they can't take care of their dumpsters, I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking about some of the other vendors. If they can't even take care of their dumpsters, how can they competitively provide the entire village services?
if that's a consideration you guys are looking at, that's what I'm saying. If you just want to keep it the same, I take no ill will to that. I'm just saying that I think for what your dollar amount that your residents are paying for trash, you can get more in your community for that.
Got them down at mine's up to, I just looked at it. Matter of fact, my son called me and he said he wanted to know if my trash went up. He said he just got a bill for just a few cents less than $90.
Yeah.
For 3 months.
Yep.
I looked, mine was 83 something.
I believe it.
So,
Once that diesel gets 6 over, because we all know it's going to,
Yeah.
it's only going to get worse. And again, that's just, every company's got to accommodate for that. But if you can say, hey, here's the exact amount of work you have in a community, we can fine tune that.
that's pretty close to $30 a month. And last time even if it comes up to 18 or 20,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Well, if you just stay with trash, it probably won't go that high. If you say we want recycling, now we're talking like pretty pennies.
Well, I do know a dumpster costs $160 if you destroy one.
Yeah, she knows that.
So that, and that would be something else, like you said, we would maintain those dumpsters, so if one did break or anything like that, we would replace those. There'd be no additional charges for that, no delivery fees, no things like that.
So if I hit another one, I don't have to pay for it.
I'll take care of it. You just call me. I'll take care of it. So, and listen, it may not be anything decision tonight, just a little bug in your ear, a little conversation. I'm
You do this tonight.
Okay.
no rush. I know it's a big change. I know a lot of conversation with the people as well. I get that. But I want to stress, if you guys are hearing anything, please call me and I'll be happy to help any situation.
During the senior cleanup, the village has like a few pieces of equipment go around. They have like lighter 1 ton and single axle dump trucks, and then they go out to the landfill. I think there's a minimum weight charge on that. I've heard of that on the scale, but they charge them a minimum weight.
Yeah, we have a gate fee.
Yeah, I think at one point in time, I think I ran the numbers. I remember right, a couple of years ago, it was like $4,500 on the senior cleanup in overage charges over the weight, the extra fees. Is there anything that can be done to get those waived for the senior cleanup?
To get them waived.
Yeah, the minimum weight charges. They still be paying the regular weight fee, but
If there is something that we would want to put in a municipal contract, I'm happy to discuss that. If you want me to just talk general, I'm not the guy that's gonna discuss what the, I have no control. Unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that I can't say like, hey, it cost me less time, we just put it up.
No alleys.
Nobody's gonna be able to beat them.
No,
16, 15.
go ahead, hash it out again.
Sure.
If they want to go out for bid, we gotta make it fair.
I totally agree. I don't want any special whatsoever.
You can put on the agenda next month.
Should we have a public meeting about it? too?
Yep.
Yep.
Well, yeah, so we still have to figure out what we want from
Got a
it.
spec.
Yeah.
And then we can put specs out on the internet. And then
Then get the public involved and say, this is what we're putting, out, you know.
Put a poll out on that also.
Do what?
get a pull on the website with their comments survey.
Well, essentially.
We can drive costs down, we're probably helping the citizens.
That's what
No
we're
doubt about it.
I'm here to help.
Okay, we'll give you a call, Tony.
Don't get me wrong, if it doesn't go anywhere, I'm, like I said. I'm okay with that, I get it.
I got this card under my glass on the right side, so coffee cannot be spilled over there.
You guys need more? I got more.
Yeah.
It's under my glass.
They give it.
They give it to me.
I don't know how many I got in my pocket at this moment, but
You mean that's
I
not
got-
your weight?
no, I don't think. It may be, I only got one more left.
Hey, your salary, just let you know, these cards are coming out.
Sit on there, person rolling the blacktop. From Chicago.
I appreciate everybody's time, I honestly do, and whatever you guys need, I'm happy to
All
help.
right, Tony.
Thank you guys very much. Everybody have a great night.
Anybody else have anything? Got one thing, then you guys can go. Just so you know, we've been discussing with the county board, because I guess it made the paper, the Southern paper. But me and Tad talked to county board chairman about combining fire districts in the city. Because we're all hurting for personnel, everybody is in the whole state. So we started in discussions, it's probably gonna be a 2-year project, pretty much, to get referendums and all that if they want to do it, to start with, so we have to have input. But the Catlin Fire District is involved in the Illinois Fire District Association, and their lawyer is the guy that drawed up everybody else's that combined in the state. So we're kind of interested in getting Don and Houston gonna talk to him and see what his input is with the municipality. So.
How much fire tax it average anyway,
About 35 cents on 100 usually.
of your evaluation?
Yeah. I have no idea. But I mean, the point is trying to get paid firefighters on call 24 hours a day for half the county to start with. And the only way you're gonna do is combine everything.
Yeah,
I
that take
mean,
pretty good
because
chunk of
you
change.
start doing benefits for pensions and all that stuff, and the fire department's a good lobbyer for pensions now, so I mean, there's just in talking phases now, and they're probably gonna have a referendum when it gets ready to do it anyway. So,
That's going.
What?
That fact, you now you involve your fireman and what you can be as trained as well as they.
supposed to by state law.
But you don't have the time to go take the class because you gotta work.
So what does that mean for us as a community?
For us as a community,
So we don't have The Tilton Fire Department will have a Southern Virginia County Fire
That's
Department.
what I'm thinking it's gonna be. But then, like Billy said today, we may want to just start with Lynch, Catlin, Westville. And then if Georgetown and Rich Farm and them want to join, they'd have to annex to the district.
You guys are doing it now because everybody's so short.
Yeah.
Um,
The answer is not getting one guy on a fire truck to call.
I understand that. But, so that's going to basically turn everything into a fire district, so then that's going to be governed under a fire district, and we will no longer.
Under fire district board and the taxes. Yes.
And what about our equipment that we have? It's just gonna-
We have to we have to vote to turn it over eventually to them if we want to.
What's that do for our ambulance?
We're gonna do both ambulance and
See,
fire.
the thing is that, what I caught of the cop, and I just happened to be here today, that's everything that has to be discussed.
Right.
This is just a
Preliminary.
thought that's moving into a process that has to be discussed.
Problem is right now, listen, you gotta be trained, certified firefighter, no matter what. And the law says you have to have 2 in and 3 out. There ain't no fire department can produce that. Danville can't even do that right now. Danville's had 2 firefighters near death in the last 6 months, fighting house fires. So something has to be done. And not just here, it's the whole state. It's not, and not just here in the whole state, it's the whole United States. Pretty much. But you're sending a fire truck out, not necessarily us, but Catlin, somebody, when they get the call for a house fire, one guy might show up. He drives that truck. He's driving a $500,000 pumper trying to look both directions. And we already had one over at Ross Lane because they got hit. So I mean, it's a necessity to have people in the truck.
Who was looking at doing it right now?
Sidell and Carol's looking now to combine.
What's the county say?
The county board chairman, we actually had a good talk with him, and, you know, the county board chairman has to appoint the fire districts, you know, the board. So that's why we went to him first. And Donahue said today that he's in favor of combining if we can get it done and have 24-hour service. And because we start talking about building a new fire station right now, and there's no sense building one when it may need to be halfway between Catlin and Tilton. So, I mean, that's all the study's gonna happen with will be dedicated. The problem is we're gonna talk to the fire boards itself and not the fire chiefs. Because when you do talk to the fire chief, you're gonna have, I gotta be in charge. It's a power struggle more or less. It's been that way for years. So we're pretty lucky Richard's kind of looking at it too. He needs help.
I'm not that way because I know we need help.
We need help. I mean, it's
The
pretty.
other day, Bismarck had a possible house fire and the first engine on route was Westville and they were stopping by and picking me up so I can come. So.
I don't have a problem with that, there's just a lot of questions. I know
Well,
at the beginning talking, there's just a lot of questions.
Long county comes up with it.
Well,
Sounds like Indiana does.
Well,
That's what Indiana.
well, the discussion was being done today with, Bill.
Bill Donahue, yeah.
Anyways,
County
what was
lawyer.
being done today was, the discussion is not to do whole county, the section of it all. And then we were talking, and that's when I sat there and said, they're already doing it. Tilton, Catlin, Westville, Lynch, they're already done it.
Not officially. Not officially.
Not officially, but they're called.
No, not officially, but I mean, because of the mutual aid system, they're doing it now.
Yeah.
So, if-
We used to be there for years. It used to be just Tilton and Lynch anytime we had a mutual aid call. And we added Catlin a while back ago and then we added Westville and we just keep adding people because, you know, it just, you're volunteers, you know, you got a lot of guys work during the day or in the evening time. So it's a crapshoot on what you got and who you got coming, you know?
so you guys are already working together, so
Yeah,
that's where the.
we fought a fire up on Texas the other night and in Lynch's district and they didn't have nobody. They never even got a unit out the door. So,
That's where.
you know, I mean, everybody's hurting.
Yeah,
So,
that's where the discussion came in, with that group right there being the cornerstone of the building process. Cause you're basically with the mutual aid system, you're already building now.
Right.
Do the townships have anything to do with the fire department, fire
No.
districts?
Nope.
There's only 2 fire departments in Vermillion County, Tilton Fire Department and City of Danville. The rest of them are fire districts.
But the county, depends on where you live at.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah, I mean, it's not the township that controls
Right, well, that's what I'm wondering.
it. Yeah, that's the county, the county.
The township is an archaic idea anyways, it needs to be eliminated. Counties need to take over.
There you go. I
You know,
agree.
seriously, but we can't do that. But the idea there is every township, let's say Danville Township, that goes half of Danville all the way back to south. So, and southern end of our county, correct?
Danville Township goes into Catlin's district. They go out to, most of Lynch's and half of Westville. So,
We have Newell, which is north, so that which would handle, and then you have a couple of other townships in there.
Down Georgetown, a different one than what it is up here.
Blunt or whatever.
Those are the ones.
That could be looked at and say, hey,